Now, when I was a kid, I used to be able to sing to animals and to insects, wild animals, wild insects, and they would come up to me. And I would sing to them. They would hang out. It was no big deal. I once worked at it was an art gallery. And there was a bee. I worked at night at an art gallery. And there was this bee that would come to the door. Seriously. And I would go and I would open the door. The bee would come in. I would close the door. I would go and sit down. Nobody ever came in at night in an art gallery. Just saying. Really boring. And the bee would sit in my hand and do this really cool thing. Bees do that. They really do. At least this one did. And I would sing to it and it would fall asleep. And then after a while it would wake up and it would fly back over to the door. I would open the door and it would go out. And this happened for about a week. No joke. This happened a lot of times when I was a kid. Once, when I was a little older, I went into a field. It was completely empty. Nobody there. Absolute empty field. Trees in the background. No animals there. No people there at all whatsoever. And I sit down and this is the way I meditate. This is the way I cool out. This is the way I chill. I sit down. I start singing. I close my eyes and I'm singing. I'm singing. I'm singing. I'm closing my eyes and singing. Ladies and gentlemen, I opened my eyes to see 300 head of cattle surrounding me in a really close circle. I tell you what, never before had I ever been afraid of a cow. No, never before, but this was a different situation. I didn't know what to do, so I just kind of sat there and I started singing a song. There was a show that Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen did. And it was a movie, and they had this wonderful song that I absolutely loved, and I completely drove my daughter insane. I mean, like, Mom, shut up, stop singing. I can't hear that song again. But I loved the song. It was so cool. And this is the song I sang after I opened my eyes and saw 300 head of cattle around me in a circle. Thank you very much. I closed my eyes and I started singing this song, and it goes, okay, it's from the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen show. Just so you know, I have to do it in a southern accent. It just doesn't work any other way. So I'm sitting there and I'm like doing my little meditation pose, and I'm looking at the cows, and then I'm closing my eyes and looking at the cows, and I start singing, oh, I'd love to be a cowboy, but ooh, I'm scared of cows. Moo, 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 how they scare me. I kept singing this, and finally the cows kind of backed up with their eyes wide. I'm not sure what that meant. Maybe they didn't like the song. Anyway. Okay, so my daughter grows up with this. She sees me being able to sing to insects, sing to wild animals, and have them just come up to me. This is something that always happened to me. So she grows up seeing this, and one day there's a walking stick. I pick up the walking stick, I start talking to the walking stick, I sing to the walking stick. It just hangs out, it's sitting there, it's being a cute little walking stick. And my daughter's like, Mom, can I hold the walking stick? And I'm like, sure, sweetheart, sure. Open up your hands, make a little cup. Here you go, here you go. The walking stick walks into my daughter's hands, takes a sniff, and chomps. I'm like, okay, you do not want to be a parent telling your child to do something and then something bad happens. That is just like not good for a parent's head. Okay. Letting it go, letting it go, letting it go. We come across a praying mantis. I pick up the praying mantis. I'm talking to it. I'm singing to it. It's being its cute little self. It's doing its little Buddha like pose, you know. I'm such a happy little praying mantis doing my Buddha pose. Okay, so I'm singing to it. It's happy as it can be. And my daughter says, Mama, can I please hold the praying mantis? I'm like, well, sure, absolutely, honey. Here, hold your hands out like this. So I put the praying mantis into her hands. The praying mantis takes one sniff and again, I'm just like, oh my God. I think that my daughter threw the praying mantis about 70 feet. I don't know. It was a really good throw. It just kind of went across our yard and into the neighbor's. And for a second, I was really worried about the praying mantis, but your mom thing, your parent thing takes over. So I was a little more worried about the fact that my daughter just got bit by it. Okay, so now I'm thinking maybe we should tone it down. Now, when I was a kid, when I was 5 years old, there was a anthill. Sugar ants. By the way, fire ants need to go. Fire ants are evil, 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 evil. Fire ants are evil. I don't care what any of you say, fire ants are evil, and they're eating up the sugar ants, and sugar ants are cute. Once, when I was in the car, with my ex-husband, and a fire ant was in the car and bit me. And I'm freaking out because it hurts. It burns. It's like fire. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, fire, what do I do? And my ex-husband's like, pull it off. So I'm like, ew, oh, gross. And I reach down and I grab the fire ant and I pull it off. And all I have, ladies and gentlemen, in my hand is the fire ant's body. The fire ant's head was still attached to my leg and alive and still biting it. Okay, that's wrong. Fire ants are evil, just for the record, throwing it out there so you know. And they shouldn't be eating the sugar ants because sugar ants are cute. However, okay, first let me tell you a story about when I was 5. Okay, I had this sugar ant pile. Cute, adorable sugar ants. As sweet and cute and adorable as they could be. And I would go out pretty much daily, and I would sit down next to them, and I would sing to them and talk to them, and they would crawl up onto my hands and onto my arms. They'd crawl up on my legs, and they would sit and they would hang out, and I kid you not, this is what they did, just like the bee, I swear, they would go, so cute, too cute, so cute. Well, I used to feed them. You want to feed your sugar babies, right? Okay. One day I didn't know what to feed them, and I was going to go see my sugar ants. And in the back of the refrigerator was something black, mushy, and oozing some kind of a oozy, gooey ooh. It was a pear. And my first thought was, oh my God, I'm kind of hungry. I don't know, maybe I could eat that. And then my next thought was the sugar babies. Okay, so I took a slice of it. I took it with me. I went out and sat with the sugar babies. I sang to them. They came to me. They sat on me. They did their little Okay, and then I was like, okay, time to go. And they would take off and get around the mound. And I handed them the gooey black, sticky piece of pear. As it turns out, ladies and gentlemen, I accidentally got an entire pile of sugar ants drunk. I know! It's horrible. But I didn't know. It's not like I went to somebody's house, raided their kitchen or cabinet or whatever, and stole their liquor and fed the liquor to the sugar ants. I gave them a pear. I was 5 years old. I did not know that it would ferment, hence turning into alcohol. Okay, so I give them the pear. They're like attacking it and loving it. And boy, that is good. And I'm thinking, boy, this is the best thing I've ever fed them. I'm 5 years old. I'm looking up the sky, beautiful sky, and I'm singing, looking at the sky. And I look back down, and none of the ants were moving. They were all just like on their sides or still, or most of them on their sides. And I cried because I thought that I had killed the sugar ants. I thought, I'm serious. I was 5 years old. What did I know? I totally thought that I killed my pet sugar ants. And I'm so scared, I'm crying. And so I start poking one and poke, 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 poke. Lo and behold, it stands up. But it does this weird sort of, you know, I keep walking, walking in the I'm a sugar ant. And I'm thinking, oh, thank God it's alive. So I start poking them all, right? Poke, 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 please be alive. Poke, 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 please be alive. Please, 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 please be alive. To my joy, none of them were dead. But the entire, and I know they're called a colony, but somehow I think it's funnier if you call a group of ants a herd. So I know it's supposed to be a called a colony, but the herd of ants all got up very slowly, and they were all doing this weird sort of walking. Oh, I'm looking for my aunt. Ew. I'm so happy. I love this girl. I love pears and I love this girl. Okay. So I'm just overjoyed that they're alive. Okay, now the fact is that later on, as my daughter was growing, this is, many years later, I won't say how many years, but it just so happened that we got a sugar ant hill in our backyard. We have a sugar ant hill in our backyard. I'm so excited. So I go out, I have some food, I have my daughter with me, I'm singing to the ants, and some of them crawl up into my hands, I'm singing to them, they're chilling out, they're doing this. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes they did, just like a cat, no joke. Okay, so my daughter looks at me and she says, oh mommy, can I hold one of the sugar ants? I'm like, well sure honey, of course, the sugar ants, go ahead. So I hold my hands out, the sugar ants crawl off my hands, and I instruct her. I said, well, what you do is you hold your hand out, just lay it down, and let them come up onto you. So she has one sugar ant come up on her hand. One sugar ant. The sugar ant looks around, sniffs, and chomp, bites her. And I swear, okay, people, I understand 100% that sometimes truly emotions can overcome you and you don't think before you speak. I once had a friend on the phone, I just say what I'm thinking. I'll just say it straight out of my head. I'm just honest. And of course, I don't know whether to tell my friend if she just announced to me that she doesn't think before she speaks. I didn't say anything. I really didn't want to get into a fight. The point is, sometimes emotion, I understand perfectly 100%, sometimes emotion overcomes you and you speak without thinking, and what comes glarbing out of my mouth. I mean, just out of my mouth. There with my little daughter, I say, oh my God, you are so totally the only person on the planet of the earth I have ever known that has ever been bit by a sugar ant. No. Okay, so now my daughter is like, Mom, bugs hate me. Why do bugs hate me? They hate me. It took me a long time, but this is the truth. And if you were, for some weird reason, happened to come up across my ex-husband, he can verify for me, and I like a witness, that when my daughter was a little kid, she was a baby, she smelled like bread and butter. I am not kidding. She smelled like bread and butter. Now, as she grew up, she could have just had the flu. And I would give her a hug, and I swear to heaven, she still smelled good. I don't know how that's possible, but it suddenly occurred to me, okay, and this is what I explained to her. Okay, sweetheart, my love, my dear beloved child, I love you so much, Star Melody. You're my honey bunny. Guess what I figured out? I figured something out. Guess what? You love me. Yeah, I love you. That's a general thing when I say guess what. I say I love you, so she kind of figured that one out. I said, no, I figured something else out. Guess what it is? Guess what it is? She's like, Mom, please tell me. I want to get back on the computer. So I'm like, sweetheart, I discovered that insects do not hate you. You are not hated by bugs. They just love you a little too much. She thinks I'm nuts. I say, no, you smell good. You smell so good that, I mean, honestly, even insects that would never eat meat to save their life will try and take a bite of her because she just smells that good, okay? She tastes good. I mean, seriously, something that fabulous, even if you're not a meat eater, a bite, just check it out, right? Okay. My poor baby girl. Okay, now I'm a writer,